Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday night. This is Sporking News Podcast. My name is Scott, and this is our Winds of Winter prediction stream. It is a stream of dreams, or is it a dream of streams? I always forget it. It's one of those two. How is everybody doing tonight? I had to start because I said 7:15. It's now 7:20. I know Jayne will be here a little late. I don't know about anybody else. Hopefully my internet will keep up. I'm actually using my phone for a hotspot, so hopefully that works. Let me know if I go robotic. I know you guys like that anyways, but at least give me a heads up so I know. All right, let's see who is in the chat tonight. We have Karen Prime saying second, and I know I did see DoLiFiEd as first, but he is not showing up in this chat I have right here. So Karen, you are number one. And if you see the little symbol next to Karen Prime's name, that means she is a Sporking News Podcast channel member. And there are 3 tiers you could choose from. As little as a cup of Walton's Best a month can support a RoboSpork. So feel free, become a member today. It'll pop up. I'll give you props. I'll see it because it's green and it looks really cool. Let's take a look at a couple more of my great, amazing, I'll say, members. We have Toxic Man Flu, third, but not the third Star Wars trilogy type of third. That, well, I would want to be the last for. Completely agree. Brutal Morningwood, oh boy, what's that make me? I don't think we want to talk about that. Tina Bojan, she says, good evening, friends. Ready for some ice and fire? You see what you did there? I love that lady. She's awesome. Gosh, I always say your name wrong, Amber. So, the Queen. Hello, friends. All my members are in the house tonight, it looks like. Here is another one, Lady Tauriel. And she says, greeting, good people. One of my favorite panelists to have on for these shows. She actually started the books, I want to say back in April when we started doing our book club. So she did Game of Thrones, and she is now done through book 5, waiting on book 6. So I'm hoping that I can get her on a Winds of Winter prediction, but we'll talk about that a little later. We might not be doing these weekly anymore. And after this Wednesday's book club, moving book club to Wednesdays, to Mondays, and having a hump day dump on Wednesday nights. Let me know how you guys feel about that. And the great one who put out an awesome video of his artwork. He was, I love his time-lapse drawing. That's Bikini90. Please, guys, follow him on Instagram, his Teespring, Twitter. He has a YouTube channel. He has like 211 subs. Let's try to bump that up. If you're not watching this live and you're hearing this, I'm talking to you. All right. And then we had myself there trying to calm the people down. Karen, lady, am I missing anybody? Anybody? Oh, how can I miss the great Adega Outlaw? He is right somewhere there. Good evening, all. And Adega Outlaw is a great writer. You know how Stephen Walton calls himself an author, and just because he's published. Adega Outlaw is a writer. I want you to know the difference. There's a big difference between Adega Outlaw and, somebody like, I don't know, Stephen at his best. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's move on. And who else do we have? We have another monster. I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Thank God you're here. I haven't seen you. Sup, y'all? Relax. I'm here now. So glad to see you in the chat, my friend. Also, with Adega Outlaw, guys, he does a live stream on 14 Barber's channel. Tell me the time and day there, Adega. I always forget because I watch it afterwards, but they do a live stream. It's all about different things of the weird, ancient civilizations, aliens, but also go deeper into different aspects of that type of realm. I would love to be on that with them one time. So if you guys ever have room, let me know. Lewis Cox is here. He says, hello, friends, and hello, friend. Thank you for being here, buddy. And we have D.D. Myers saying, greetings and hello, everyone. Cool Star Trek pin there. I like it. and the great nerd cookies, sparkling dudes, dog cats. That is who I am. Once you get big time, you don't remember your friends. If you're not subscribed to Nerd Cookies, I'm kind of doubting that you aren't, because she has like 30 million subs or something like that. I believe I was in the top, I want to say 10, but I'll say top 50, and she was so sweet to me at that beginning stages, and now she beats me if I talk too much, and I talk too much a lot. Whew. Anywho, thank you for being here, my friend. She is also a channel member. And here we go. Wow, this thing just jumped big time. I am so far behind. So we said DD, and we have Nerd Cookies. And I think I saw a beautiful little $2 super chat from my good friend Culture Casino doing the Humpty dump on Saturday. Yes, maybe on Wednesdays starting next week. But we'll discuss that later. If you don't know Culture Casino, you're missing out. The dude is hilarious. He's smart. He's well-informed. He also creates a lot of the intros and outros that I know I use. Stephen Wall, I think a bunch of other guys in the fourth wave portion of the Fandom Menace. So give that guy some love. And then we got my good buddy, Zachariah315, who's been around for a long time. Howdy, y'all. All right. If you guys can't tell, I'm stalling to see if somebody shows up. Runner Studio, I think I just saw you. Oh, this thing jumps fast. I love that you guys are so into doing the chat. It's freaking awesome. Runner Studio right somewhere. He's here. You guys know who Runner Studio is? If you don't, again, another content creator that needs to be subbed by you. Awesome dude, young guy too. All he's going to do is grow. All he's going to do is grow. So you got to be like me, get in at the bottom level, make him feel great about himself. Hopefully when he gets huge, he takes you with you. And, maybe you can get hair plugs or something. Okay. Did I miss anybody? Anybody? Let's see what Lewis has to say. I will say, of course, that A Song of Ice and Fire books are way better than the show. Completely, utterly agree, sir. We do sometimes look. I'm not like a lot of the other A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, YouTube content creators. I'm not scared to say the show sucked. It was terrible. The first maybe 4 seasons were pretty darn good. They had to take some, artistic and liberal changes to the few books because George just created such a scope of a world with so many characters, and they needed to bring it in. But, like spoilers, if you haven't seen the show, what are you doing watching this? Like with the whole, run up to the Red Wedding with Rob marrying some girl from like Essos, when they could have easily have brought in the Westerlings and had a really cool, different aspect of what happened at that Red Wedding. Were they, weren't they? Yes, no, but Dan and Dave are not very good at what they do. So we got what we got. All right. Who else? Anybody? Parrot Head. Glad you did not miss. He is social distancing Sporking style. So that means making sure the person behind you is at least 10 feet while you breathe on the person in front of you's neck. So I hope everyone works on that and stay safe, because it's scary out there, people. All right. I guess no one's going to show up. I know Jane will. She is a busy lady. Her channel is blown up as it is. So she will be here in a little bit. We're going to be discussing. Oh my God. We're going to be discussing Tyrion I from A Winds of Winter. So I'm wondering what you guys think of Tyrion in the books. Tyrion in the show went from being oh, thank God she's here. I'm rambling. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on? It's going good. How are you?
I am good. Why don't you do your hey all and we'll get to it.
Hey guys. So happy to be here tonight. It's going to be a fun topic. Let's get started.
Yes. It's always a good topic. Hopefully my computer doesn't hate me. I am using my I use Straight Talk. I don't know how good this hotspot's going to be, but I'm trying. So, Robo
you're still
Sport
in the
might come
hotel?
out big time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be in the hotel for a while. Yeah. Good times. Good times. So this is what we're going to do. I was just about to ask these guys a question. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Karen Prime says, hi, Jayne.
Hey, Karen.
McKinney90 says, thank God it's Jayne. I want to do a test though, real quick, Jayne. I want to say 1, and you say 2. Ready? 1.
2.
Oh crap! We are off by a few counts there. Okay, this is going to be awesome. I will pause after every time I talk and just make sure I don't talk over you. But what I was saying was this: Tyrion from the show post season 5 was a shell of what Tyrion is.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your feelings though about Tyrion from the book?
So I think I do think if the question is whether he's going to survive, was that the question?
Mm-hmm. Well, not even survive. Sorry, not even survive, but like, first off, will he survive? Second off, which book, if he isn't, will he go? And third, what do you think of his character?
Well, I mean, first, I think he will survive. I think that part of it is, this is one of the characters that George sort of sees himself in. So I think for that reason alone, he's probably going to make it to the end and be pretty instrumental in how everything wraps up. But in terms of his character, I mean, there are instances where he sort of stands in for the audience too. And that's another reason why I sort of think he'll survive this. But you never know. I mean, he could go in the direction of trying to subvert us, but I don't think he will. I think that Tyrion is here to stay because he is so important to everything that's happening, and he's the one who's observing a lot of things really up close and from different perspectives that we wouldn't ordinarily see. And he's the one who people underestimate very often. So I think he has to survive. It's the ones who assume different who are going to die and die horribly and quickly.
I always more and more now that we're going through and rereading the book for our Wednesday, soon to be Monday show. I realized that George, so no one I ever feel like is safe.
Right.
Tyrion is one of the closest ones because George has said that Tyrion, Sam, they're kind of a part of him. He's speaking through them. But Tyrion said something interesting. He said, he looks out for cripples, whatever, something and broken things. And I wonder if those will be the ones that inherit the earth.
Interesting perspective. Yeah, that seems to be what's happening, though. Cripples, cripples, bastards, and broken things? I think that's what we see transpiring. And also, he's the one who should have died, right? I mean, there have been so many times when he would have died or should have died, or even at birth. There's no reason any other person who wasn't him, who wasn't from his family and his legacy, would be dead. So for that alone, there's so many reasons why he would survive it.
Right. And his father has said that, if you weren't a Lannister, you'd be dead. The one thing I was thinking about too is that, maybe not the bastards, but the broken things. You have someone like Dany, you have someone like Jon, and you have someone like Tyrion. All 3 born mothers died at birth.
Right.
It kind of covers them in that whole broken things. So I have a feeling like there's a certain group that George right off the rip knew was going to make it through this, and you could add Arya to that, but maybe not Sansa until she went through what she went through.
I wouldn't necessarily include Arya, at least not in her current state.
Right. I mean,
I think we're going to get the wolves, or some return of Stark into wolves.
Right. I mean, your theory is that Arya may die in this book and become, one with Mynir.
Nymeria.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I find that one to be a really interesting one. When Ned talks to her on the stairs and says, "You'll have a household with a lord, and your kids will be knights and princes," and she says, "That's not me." What is she? She's a wolf. So I really dig your thought on that one. That's all you. I like that.
I see it, and it makes sense when you consider that we keep hearing about these wolves in the pack specifically that's roaming around. It's not going to be for nothing. Like, I think they have a role to play, and she's been the most wolfish of the group. So, next to the baby.
Yeah. Oh God, he is definitely. But there is the George did say in a question and answer when someone asked him, "Will we see the wolf pack in the Riverlands in action?" He says, "You don't create a super wolf pack and not use it." So we're definitely going to see that. And who better to lead them but Arya?
Exactly. And her wolf combined would be incredible.
I mean, think about her with her knowledge of how to kill, and Nymeria with the strength to do any form of killing. That thing will be that would be the no one assassin they were looking for. And I almost feel like, that the House of Black and White knows that there is warging ability in the Stark line, because Arya fails multiple times there. She failed in the sample chapter we went over. She didn't do what she was supposed to do and actually killed someone, but yet they keep promoting her and keep saying she goes on to the next level of training. Why is that? You know what I mean? Unless they want to make her something that no one else can be.
Right. And I think absolutely they know. I mean, they certainly know the old ways, and if they do, which we know they do because of the door and what it's constructed of, then they know the Starks, because the two go hand in hand. And that means they know the legacy, and they know what they're capable of. They know what's in their blood. And that could very well be what they've been preparing her for, which would be an amazing twist, because then you have to wonder why. Why are they helping, or are they helping?
Right. Do they know? Like, who are the, the faceless men really? Like, why were they in Westeros? What was he doing in the Black Cells? We might not even get into this chapter, because I have so many freaking questions that just, having me and you just talking, they keep popping into my head.
One of mine was, are they going to kill her? If they are prepping her for this, then they would finish it. Right?
Exactly. And I really think, after you said you think she'll die and go into Nymeria, it makes sense. It makes sense that this super wolf pack will have a trained killer within a wolf. I mean, that's insane.
It's epic.
And it's so epic. And don't forget, like, the show got safe. I know people don't think that, but it got safe. You knew certain people were never going to die.
Right.
Like, I knew Jon would make it. I knew Tyrion would make it. I had a feeling Sansa and Arya would definitely make it. I pretty much knew Dany wasn't going to make it once they turned her all dark in one episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you value this one, that the three of them, Dany, Jon, and Tyrion, are all dragon blood?
I've always been going back and forth between Tyrion versus Jaime and Cersei. Because there's argument either way.
Timing too.
For all we know, they all could be. That would be interesting. And I don't think he'll have that role, though. Like, as much as that would make sense and it would be kind of cool to see, I don't think that's what he is. I think he will continue to be the helper, observer. That's his role. I don't think he's going to have a starring role as like a dragon rider or anything like that.
Right.
I don't think he'll be a leader.
No, this is the thing I think. I always thought, at first I thought, oh, he has like these dragon dreams. He always wanted to fly a dragon. He must be setting us up for him to be, Targaryen. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, this is George R.R. Martin.
Right.
Wouldn't it be more like George to have Jaime, Tywin's golden boy, actually a Targaryen and maybe a Azor Ahai. And Tyrion, the one he never wanted as a son, wanted to disown his actual true heir and his only heir.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would
come on.
be crazy. It would.
I would love that.
But and for all we know, the dragon dreams that he has are implanted. It may be that that's directing him to the Targaryens to help them by creating this affinity for them in him.
Oh man, that is good. I mean, we've seen it in other people during this story. We think Euron has had implanted dreams from Bloodraven.
Right.
Why not Tyrion? You have somebody whose family is now the three-eyed raven or crow, excuse me, the three-eyed crow sees all. So why not know that the richest family, one that's going to be very powerful when you need it to be powerful, one of them, is on your team, the one kind of guiding the Dragon Queen where you want her.
Right. And you would pick the one who is the one everyone would least suspect. Yep.
And we all know the books are different. Tyrion still hasn't even met Dany yet. He's a sellswordsman over in Meereen. Dany's not even back to Meereen. Barristan's still alive, getting prepared for a war. So, I mean, the books are so different, but it would be interesting. Let me read these.
I think they're leading to the same place, though. I do think I think the way that the show did it was just wrong, but I think the beats are there.
Yes. I think what the show did was they sped it up too much, and they had Tyrion meet her way too early.
And it made no sense in the end. Exactly.
Tyrion as a character made no sense in the end. Yep. The Time Prophet is here. Take a break from writing and listen to us talk about a writer. I like that. McKinney says, remember, everyone, please share, smash the like button. Yeah, enjoy sporking, thumping, whatever I am content. Listen, it is huge, guys. Liking and sharing. If anything, just hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. YouTube's algorithm doesn't really help us smaller content creators. A lot of us grew because other people have, given us some support. But without your help hitting the like button, that's all I need from you. Hit that like button and maybe this will get out into the world of YouTube. Lady Tauriel says, I think there is going to be a big shakeup going. I want her here because she finished the books.
What?
Oh, yeah. Dude, she finished the 5 books.
How? That's insane.
I mean,
that's faster than I did.
Right? She started reading them, in late April, early May?
That's quick.
I mean, we've been doing the Game of Thrones book club for a while, and she did start like a couple weeks before we started. I remember Stig telling me that. But man, I'm just amazed how quickly. And it's not that she just read it quick. She understands it. Some of the stuff
taking notes.
Yeah, taking notes. That's the way to do it. Mason, how you doing, my friend? Mason, can you put in the chat your YouTube channel? I swear you have one, and I know I'm a sub, but I keep forgetting the name of it. You DM me on Twitter. Oh, I'll check that out. While I'm doing that, have you read this chapter at all?
I have not. I didn't have time to get around to it.
Nothing wrong with that. What we'll do, so let me just read this real quick. I'm sorry. Reading the wrong person's DM. You know what, Mason? I am going to do that, buddy. We're going to have somebody different on with us tonight. Mason's a good dude, and I'm sending him the link. So this one is Tyrion is with the sellswords, the second sons. They're getting prepped pretty much for the Battle of Meereen. There's some confusion on who is on what side, and you'll see that throughout this this chapter is great. I love this chapter, just the way the sellswords play the different sides, till they decide who they want to fight for. Oh, it's so good. So I'm going to try to read this in a minute. Holy crap, my computer is so slow. Here we go. This is the last thing I will do with this computer, and I'll open up my phone. Sorry, everybody. I am in a hotel. I'm trying to use my phone as a hotspot. I don't know even how long that will work for with a prepaid type plan, but we are going to find out. So don't forget, become a member. Throw a super chat. Help a brother out. The better equipment I get, the better this show will be. Yes. All right. So I'm going to bring up this. What is she saying here? Mayra? Okay. I don't know. Maybe answering somebody in there. Who's John? Who's Johnny? They say. Let me go right the other way. Sam is here. I am so glad. I feel like I haven't seen Sam in a while. And I saw him the other night on somebody else's stream, and I get jealous. I'm a little nuts. Thank you for being here, buddy. And Brian Young also. Tywin's sister says that Tyrion is his true son. True as in most like Tywin. Yes, I agree with you with that. There was a time where it lines up that Aerys may have raped. I said it. Taken, Tywin's wife when against her will at, I believe it was Casterly Rock. And it would line up with Cersei and Jaime's birth. So it's not proven that it happened.
The King's rights thing?
Well, no, he was just a psycho. Yeah, He was just crazy. Now, it's not as known as the same thing may have happened during Tyrion's, her being pregnant for Tyrion's birth, because that's another reason why people say Tywin hated him. So not that he just killed her, but that it's not even his son, but he can't prove it. And he was the king at the time, so he had to accept him as his son. Or, if he denied him, he would have made his wife, dishonored his wife, who was the only person he actually loved. Let me know if that sounds about right, Brian. We got another super chat. That is
I kind of wonder if she cheated, though.
Oh, yeah, no. I
because it's always twisted. Like what the narrator thinks is sometimes the exact opposite of what happened.
Well, don't forget, because you are looking through a unreliable third, I don't know what they call it, but I call it the unreliable narrator. And if Tywin doesn't want to believe his wife was a he will not believe it, And
it would explain his issue with those women.
Right. Exactly. So we got another, at 5, is that lira? What is it?
I don't know. I think
it's pounds, or it's a euro. And that, I know your last name is Singh. It is can you try pronouncing that for me, please?
Aditya?
I'm so sorry. Aditya Singh.
Yeah.
Aditya. Cool name. Misty, Song of Ice and Fire stuff a lot. Big ups and cheers. Have been burning through other completed fantasy series lately. Get a move on, Georgie. Dude, completely agree with you.
He's going to finish the books.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Put it out there. This is a Jayne thing. He's going to finish the books.
He's going to do it.
He's going to finish the books. He's going to do it. Everything's going to be all right. We're good.
It's gonna be fine.
Okay. It's going to be fine. He's going to finish both books, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I get nervous when I think about both books. I don't know what to do about it, Jayne. I try to stay positive, but when do you think we're getting this next book? When's the winter? When do you really think?
I think it will be next year. I really do.
Like next Christmas or next summer?
Next summer.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think he's close.
Okay. I hope so. I really hope so, because I cannot deal with it anymore. Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it. All right. So we thank you so much for the £5 euro things. You could tell I don't get a lot of super chats because I have not figured that part out yet. I wish they had like a little thing I could hover over it and it tells me what that is.
Right. It should just translate it into your own, money.
Yeah. You know what? That's a valid point. Jason C. up in the house. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
And anybody else that I missed before I start reading? DoLiFiEd was first, everybody. Just make sure you all know that.
It was a pound. It's 5 pounds.
It is 5 pounds. Okay. Thank you, DoLiFiEd. For some reason, it erased your first on my screen, but I know you were first because I always check to see who's there. Deviant Porg, my brother, how are you? My friend Lewis here says, relax. He is going to finish the books. All we have to do is wait. I know. And there's many times where I am that positive guy too. And I don't want to create like a fake anger towards George Martin because I don't have that, but I do get irritated that like I sit back and think like you had almost 10 years. What have you been doing?
Well, see, what someone pointed out, and I think it may have been, I forgot his name, but what someone pointed out was that the book, and I can't remember the name of which one it was, but one of them got split into 2 books. Okay.
Say that one more time.
You remember the one book that got split into 2 books because it was so long?
Yep. A Feast for Crows. Wait a minute. Okay. Dance with Dragons and the one before it.
Okay. So all together, they said it took about 10 years to do that. So what I'm thinking is that what he's writing may be the 2 books, and maybe that's why it's taking so long.
Well, I used to say that a lot. I mean, you go back to my earliest YouTube stuff. That was my belief. The only difference with that, it was 10 years total, but 2 books came out in that 10-year span. So like one came out and then like after, I think it was like four years after the other one, the third book. And then the next one came out like 6 or 7 years. Let's see what Tina has to say though. I keep think Winds of Winter is really close to done, but George R. R. Martin keeps revisiting it as he progresses through A Dream of Spring.
Yes, exactly. That's what I think is happening. It's the 2. I think he's doing them both at the same time.
Right. And it's going to be different though, because he can't split it the way he did in the last one. So the last one he split between characters. This time he'll have to split between like times in the series.
And that's the thing. It does, but it's like he's wrapping up this massive story. And I think you kind of have to think linearly. Like you have to do it all together to do it right, maybe. I don't know.
God, I hope so. I really hope so. And this sucks because I'm trying to read this on my phone, and my phone is my hotspot, and it hates me right now. So I may try to do this. Bear with me. Plan on RoboSpork, everybody. Let's see. I am going to try to do it on another web page over here, another tab, but not maybe show it to everybody. Let's see how it goes. Let me know if I go robotic. All right. So Tyrion I. Still, I kind of want to finish that conversation we were just having. So if he did do what you were saying, because I kind of felt like he was so upset with the show. I mean, the last couple seasons, he didn't write anything for the show, which he was doing, and his episode was always great. He also, here he is. Hello, Mason.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Well, why don't you first, let me just say hello to a great channel, AFK Bard. How are you doing, my friend? And next, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where are you? What's up?
Well, I don't know, man. I've just been watching a whole bunch of Fandom Menace channels for a few years now, so I decided to give it a shot. So here I am.
Nice. When did you start your channel?
I don't know. I've had it as an idea for a while, but I just recently started doing content.
Okay, cool, man. I kind of did the same thing last year. Like for almost a year, I would say before season 7 of Game of Thrones, I wanted to start a channel, but I never had the balls to do it until last a year ago, September. Actually, it's about you know what? I think it's like a year, a couple days ago, my first video I dropped. So that's pretty cool. I just celebrated a year, man. That's awesome. I didn't even realize it.
That's cool.
So Yeah, it is. Mason, what's your channel again?
So right now it's called Free Folk of Fandom with your host Jarboy. I know it's a big mouthful, but
Free
that
Folk
is a
Fandom.
cool name though. Yeah,
Yeah.
just go with Free Folk Fandom, bro.
That's cool.
Cut it down. I like it. Free Folk Fandom. That is dope. What do you think about it? Were you listening while you were trying to get on what we were talking about at all?
I heard a little bit of it.
Okay. You have any feelings on either, Tyrion not being or Tyrion being a Targaryen, or George finishing the books? Anything about that before we get into the actual sample chapter?
So I think you're probably right about George swapping Tyrion with Jaime and Cersei being Targaryens.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like pretty likely.
Right. That Jaime and Cersei are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, first of all, he gives you a little hint with the whole brother-sister love thing. They even talk about it. And it would be kind of interesting that they came out being the Targaryens. I mean, they have very blonde hair, not the silver hair, but there was many Targaryens that had blonde hair.
Right.
Tywin's wife was his cousin. So she is a Lannister. So those, Lannister genes will come out. It's not like we've seen in the past that the Targaryen bloodline isn't like the Baratheon, where everyone who marries into a Baratheon, their kids, no matter what, look like a Baratheon. We have them that look like they're from Dorne. We have them that look like they're, from the Westerlands, from the Reach, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I think that's important.
bastards come in all colors too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at you have Bloodraven, you have Bittersteel, there's so many different ones. Some look very Targaryen, some don't. It all depends on the other genes. So I do like that. Let's see. I'm going to try to read this, guys. Tell me again how I do. All right. And this is Tyrion I, I think, sample chapter. Somewhere off in the far distance, a dying man was screaming for his mother. So before I jump into it, actually, let's bring you up to speed. We probably should have gone over the Barristan one chapter, but it's not as complete as the Tyrion one. So, Barristan's talking about the siege on Meereen and getting his green boys ready and where he's going to attack. Now we see Tyrion. He is with the Second Sons and seeing what's happening from, their side, what Barristan is doing from within Meereen. So somewhere off in the far distance, a dying man was screaming for his mother. To horse, a man was yelling in Gishgari. In the next camp to the north of the Second Sons, to horse, high and shrill, his voice carried a long way in the morning air, far beyond his own encampment. Tyrion knew just enough Gishgari to understand the words, but the fear in his voice would have been plain in any tongue. I know how he feels. Scroll up and it sometimes goes robo on me. It was time to find his own horse, he knew. Time to don some dead boy's armor, buckle on a sword and a dagger, slip his dinted great helm down over his head, dawn hand broken, and a sliver of the rising sun was visible behind the city's walls and towers, blindingly bright. To the west, the stars were fading one by one. Trumpets were blowing along the Shahazadam. God, I hate the. I'm as bad as Steven right now. War horns answering from the walls of Meereen. A ship was sinking in the river mouth of fire. Dead men and dragons were moving through the sky, whilst warships crashed and clashed on Slaver's Bay. Tyrion could not see them from here, but he could hear the sounds. The crash of a hull against a hull as ships slammed together, the deep-throated war horn of the Ironborn and queer high whistle of Karth, The splintering of oars, the shouts, and the battle cries, the crash of axe on armor, sword on shield, all mingled with the shriek of wounded men. Many of the ships were still far out in the bay, so the sounds they made seemed faint and far away, but he knew them all the same, the music of slaughter. All right, so pretty much we're getting a picture of what's going on. The Ironborn have shown up. They're in the bay fighting Karth, which is giving Sir Barristan a huge upside because he didn't know what he was going to do with the Carthian, the Carthish in the bay. But now you have the Ironborn attacking him. Getting anything from that yet, or should I just keep reading on?
Nothing quite yet. It seems more sort of setting up for the rest of the story, setting the scene more so than anything else at this point. Nothing in particular stands out.
Right. Anything with you, my man?
No, just keep reading.
Okay, I got
also,
you. All right, let's do it.
Somebody else to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can send it
that
to
would
me.
Be really helpful. All right, dude. I'm going to cut and paste this and put it in the private chat. I don't know. I don't know if this is the one you have to download. I've downloaded it though, like 2 years ago. It's fine. But it's on page 75 of that one. That's every sample chapter together. We're actually on page, I believe, 76. While you do that, I'll keep reading though. 300 yards from where he stood rose the wicked sister, her long arm swinging up with a clutch of corpses, shunk thump. And there they flew, naked and swollen, pale dead birds tumbling boneless through the air. The siege camps shimmered in a gaudy haze of rose and gold, but the famous stepped pyramids of Marine hulked black against the glare. Something was moving atop one of them. He saw a dragon, but which one? At the distance, it could as easily have been an eagle, a very big eagle. Just let me know when you are ready. After days spent hidden inside musty tents of the Second Sons, the outside air smelled fresh and clear. Though he could not see the bay from where he stood, the tang of salt told him it was near. Tyrion filled his lungs with it. A fine day for a battle. From the east, the sounds of drumming rolled across the parched plain. A column of mounted men flashed past the Haradan, flying the blue banner of the windblown. A younger man might have found it all exhilarating. A stupider man might have thought it grand and glorious, right up to the moment when some arse, ugly, younkish slave soldier with rings in his nipple planted an axe between his eyes. Tyrion Lannister knew better. The gods did not fashion me to wield a sword, he thought, so why do they keep putting me in the midst of battle? All right, so we'll stop there.
That's an interesting point, yeah.
I wanted to ask you that. Why? Why does he always end up in these positions?
I mean, practically speaking, it goes back to what I was saying before about how he is the audience in a lot of this. So I think that he is the observer. He's the one who's telling us what's happening. But from the story perspective, I think it's building him for something. It's building him for a much bigger battle. So he's getting experience and strategy as an advisor from all of these experiences. And who knows?
Which will help him in the future, right?
Exactly. And something may be pushing him or putting him in these positions to get this experience, for all we know.
I agree with you on that. Real quick, Adam Price says the stream keeps cutting out on him. Okay, so I've had the same issue for a couple days now. Any live stream I watch on my phone, and it was on my computer, we're like doing looks like it's going to go to a commercial and then kind of jumps back in. If you're on your PC, or if you could do it on your phone, you have to clear your cookies and even some data on whatever web browser you use. Restart your phone and then jump back on, and it should clear that off. If it's your computer, you might not even have to restart it. You just have to clear your history and your cache and all that stuff, and you should be fine when you come back. All right. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure people knew that because it's been happening to me. I can't freaking stand it. So Tyrion, again, like you said, Jayne, is our eyes. Okay, we're seeing what's going on. We have in the bay again. We have the Ironborn. He's telling us where the different catapults, what's going on, where they're throwing those, blood sick. They're sick with that pale mare disease, and they're throwing them just over the wall, I believe. You see the dragons off in the distance.
Yes.
I want to say he also sees them at one point grabbing, these dead, sick people out of the air and eating them. So he sees it all, and he's smart. He's the one who says, this isn't glorious. This isn't exhilarating. This is probably the day I'm going to die.
Right.
And
he realizes he wants to live after so many years of wanting to die.
Right. I mean, think about the whole trip up the when he met young Griff, whatever that river is. Oh my God. I'm forgetting the name of it. Yeah, exactly. It's, it's a huge river. Anywho, up the river, and, the time he met, Mormont again, and Mormont takes him as a captive, and then they get enslaved, and he just doesn't care. The whole thing with that girl Penny, that's not in the show, he hasn't cared for anyone or anything since the time with his father and with what's her name in the castle. He's just been on a destructive path. So
it's a nice little character development piece for him.
Yes. I mean, think about it. He went from, in the first book being the sarcastic, knows he's a little person, but yet he knows he has a big name. He has his big brother that can fight behind him, to then being, the hand of the king, and then being thrown into a, saying he killed the king. I mean, there's been so much that has happened to him throughout these books, so you can't blame him for feeling the way he feels. But I don't know. I feel like we start to see, like you said, a change in his character coming up soon. So, and it has to do, I think, with Penny. And do you think maybe someone sent her?
I'm beginning to think all of this is orchestrated, honestly, but possibly.
Yeah, I wonder about her. I really do. There's something like she's so naive. You're trying to tell me that you're both, you and your brother are little people. He kept you safe for this long, yet you are like the most naive person anyone has ever seen. To me, that's impossible.
I think it is, especially for this world where little people don't live. I mean, they don't make it unless there's some power behind them, keeping them alive, some support system.
Exactly. What do you think there, Mason?
I think I don't know. I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said. I just think it's interesting.
Cool.
He's always hitting into battles. Like he's the reason why they won the Battle of Blackwater. And he always gets drugged into the battles. Like in the first book, he's
at the Green Fork.
Yeah, and he leads the mountain clans. And then he gets knocked off his horse, and he takes out one of the knights. I'm forgetting the name of him. It goes under the horse.
Oh yeah, that's right. That happened at the Green Fork, didn't it? I forgot about that. Because the show just shows them get knocked out because they couldn't afford at the time a massive battle scene. So that's a really good catch. I totally forgot about that. Do you think he is being sent by, maybe Bloodraven, a higher power of some sort, the old gods, to, even the fire god, R'hllor, to be the one that helps Dany? And he's been, put through all these trials to make him the man he needs to be to help Dany? Anytime, buddy. You can jump in. Don't worry about us. So, or Jayne, whoever wants to answer that one?
I mean, I think so. It's one of those situations where if he is being guided, if he's being put in these situations, it may be, the same force behind the dreams.
Right.
He has to be prepared mentally. He also has to be prepared physically and intellectually for his future role.
Right.
And one way to do that is manipulation. And if he survives all of these battles that he's put in the middle of, then he's going to be prepared to be the advisor, supporter, general that the Targaryens need.
Right. And you know what? Very cool point, Mason. Let me ask you this. All right, so Tyrion has been put through all these trials to become something more for Dany. And then it's almost like he was sent to all these different wars, all these different battles, so that he would know what battles really are. I mean, he just explained it to us. If he's never been in a battle, and yet he is the hand of the queen, he might decide to put men's lives in danger because they mean nothing to him at that point, because he doesn't know the effect of what war has. Do you think maybe that could be a reason why he's been in all these battles?
Wow, when you put it like that, that's it seems pretty obvious.
Right.
Connecting the dragon dreams and pushing him forward, and then he gets pulled into battles to learn strategies. I think that's I think it's really possible. I think it's probable.
Right. And it's almost like with this show, see, you've been watching us and everybody, but if you're new here, we're definitely unscripted. We don't read. A lot of the times we don't really even prepare. We just go into it reading either the chapter or talking about the topic, and things just come up. And I think some of the best stuff we've ever thought of happens that way.
It does.
So I am really starting to think that's something.
Because I hadn't thought about that until the night when, that he really may be being shaped just like Arya is, just like Bran is, just like Jon is, you have to wonder then who is really behind all of this? What could be that powerful?
Well, there's only a couple things that could be that powerful. You got, Blood Raven, you have the old gods, you have, Melisandre, but she really doesn't do that. But there are other, red priests. You have Leroy, I always want to say Leroy, R'hllor, or it could be something completely different that we don't even know of yet. You know?
It could be a god or they could all be the same god, which is a theory too, that they're all the same.
I kind of lean towards that. I don't know, Mason, if you have
or at
thought
least
about
two,
that.
maybe.
Right. The maybe the fire and the ice, or the other and the light. I don't know, but there is something about, I think a lot of the gods that everyone are, they're praying to is really actually the same one, if it has power at all. Look at the Seven. The Seven has not shown us any power yet.
No, but at its origin, something from it or that circumstance is what pushed the Andals into Westeros. So they're it or they are manipulating humans towards some end. Right.
I want to just quickly say hey to Rennie A and the memes of destruction. Thanks for jumping in, guys.
Y'all.
If I miss anybody else, let me know. Hey, y'all. Mason, are you ready to read? Do you know where it is?
Yeah, I got it up.
Okay. Yeah, it's at no one heard, no one answered, no one cared. And I want to say that's page, it might say a different page, but it's page 77, 78, somewhere around there.
Which is a powerful phrase, by the way. Just throw that in there.
What's that?
Those three lines. No one heard, no one answered, no one cared.
Yeah. I mean, really, it is.
It could be the exact opposite is true.
Oh, wow. Someone is answering. Someone is. Holy shoot. That is awesome. He doesn't see that.
He doesn't see it.
Go ahead, buddy.
Hang on. It says no one. So who else is no one?
Oh yeah, dude.
Ooh.
I didn't catch that either. Each time it does, it says no one heard, no one answered, no one cared. Now, I don't know. I know, Jayne, you kind of think this too a little bit, but I definitely think that the House of Black and White are definitely more into what's going on than just assassins for hire. They are trying to manipulate things going on in Bravos, things going on in Essos, and now also in Westeros. So
I'm beginning to think they're with the others, or that side of it, the ice side, Team Ice.
Yes, and there are theories about that. If you go to YouTube and look it up, I think so, because we've talked about this once before. The Iron Bank, the assassins, and then the old gods. You have, their door is weirwood. You know what I mean? Like, the great other. To me is like the one God. The many-faced God might have many faces, but the great other is death.
Right. Yeah.
So they definitely have something to do there. Really good catch, Mason. Why don't you jump in and read, and I will shut this tab. So hopefully I don't, lag too much. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. No one heard. No one answered. No one cared. Tyrion found himself thinking back on his first battle. Shae had been the first to stir, woken by his father's trumpets. The sweet strumpet who'd pleasured him for half the night had trembled naked in his arms, a frightened child. Or was all that a lie as well, a ploy she used to make him feel brave and brilliant? What a mummer she might have been. When Tyrion had shouted out for Podrick Payne to help him with his armor, he'd found the boy asleep and snoring. Not the quickest lad I've ever known, but a decent squire in the end. I hope he found a better man to serve. It was queer, but Tyrion remembered the Green Fork much better than the Blackwater. It was my first. You never forget your first. He remembered the fog drifting off the river, winding through the reeds like pale white fingers. And the beauty of that sunrise, he remembered that as well. Stars stowing across a purple sky, the grass glittering like glass with morning dew, red splendor in the east. He remembered the touch of Shae's fingers as she helped Pod with Tyrion's mismatched armor, the bloody helm, like a bucket with a spike. That spike had saved him, though. He'd won him his first victory, but Grode and Penny had never looked half as silly as he must have looked that day. Shae had called him fearsome when she saw him in his steel, mind you. How could I have been so blind, so deaf, so stupid? I should have known better than to do my thinking with my cock. So, didn't Robert Baratheon say something about you never forget your first?
Yes,
he did.
Yes, and he meant it that way too. Your first, lay, your first kill, your first battle, your first woman. So it kind of like it's one of those things where it goes hand in hand almost. Like that first person you kill, the exhilaration of battle, everything at a heightened sense is kind of like the first time with a lady. So, what do you think? You think that he may have heard something like that from him, or like this is just kind of referencing back to that, which is kind of cool, actually.
I don't remember him. Actually, I don't. Are there any chapters with Tyrion and Robert talking? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No, every time when we saw them in Winterfell, they were never together. You know, I don't even remember him really talking about Robert as much when they were up in Winterfell. It was more that Tyrion was meeting, you know, Jon and showing us how he feels about his nephew and stuff like that. But no, I think you're right. We never really saw them in the same like room. You know, he went north when everybody else went south. So,
but I think
that's a good one, man.
It may be a hint that he did overhear him.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right there. I think that may be a callback of sorts to Robert, because remember, he's in a situation where he's now thinking about all these wars he's been in and how curious that is, and who is the war guy. You know, it's Robert. So he may be sort of seeing things from Robert's perspective for a moment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you think about it.
Is.
Right. But think about it. You know, that's perfectly put. He's going through all these battles. He met Shay at his first battle, you know, and Shay brought out that tender side of him that he remembered from his wife, Taisha, or whatever her name is. So like it all kind of got intertwined because of Shay being there, who I think was planted, of course, there. But, you know, like it's almost like you're right. It's a throwback to, you know, think about this warrior who won so many battles, laid so many women, and no longer is with us. So that's how easy it could be. There is no glory in any of it.
Right. And now that warrior is him.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's crazy.
It is.
That is crazy.
A turn of events.
Yeah, I want to give a quick hail to the great Ord's board. He is the sleeper of sleep, the dreamer of dreams, the snorer of streams. Thank you, my friend, for being here tonight. Mason, unless you have something else, we'll read some more.
I think I'm going to say something real quick though.
Go ahead.
I like how too he's contrasting the beauty before war, so the peace before the storm, literally, in this scene as well. I thought that was just an interesting contrast that a lot of soldiers make.
Well, definitely. You know, it's almost like, so if you've never been in war, you really think it's you're in it. I've never been, but friends have. But then you have the guys who have been in war that have to hype themselves up thinking about the glory and the, you know, this and that, just so they can get through it. He's being a pragmatist. He's just, look, this is what it is. It sucks. You know, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this.
Yeah.
You know, but he does. You're right. He lets us understand that sensation of something beautiful is about to happen when really it is a slaughter. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Whenever you're ready, buddy.
All right. The second sons were saddling their horses. They went about it calmly, unhurriedly, efficiently. It was nothing they had not done 100 times before. A few of them were passing a skin from hand to hand, though whether it was wine or water, he could not say. Bakako was kissing his lover shamelessly, kneading the boy's buttocks with one hand, the other tangled in his hair. Behind them, Sir Garibald was brushing out the mane of his big fledgling. Kim sat on a rock, gazing at the ground, remembering his dead brother, perhaps, or dreaming of that friend back in King's Landing. Hammer and nail moved from man to man, checking spears and swords, adjusting armor, putting an edge on any blade that needed it. Snatch chewed his sour leaf, making jipes and scratching at his balls with his hook hand. Something about his manner reminded Tyrion of Bronn. Sir Bronn of the Blackwater now, unless my sisters killed him. that might not be quite so simple as she thinks. He wondered how many battles these second sons had fought, how many skirmishes, how many raids, how many cities have they stormed, how many brothers have they buried or left behind to rot. Compared to them, Tyrion was a green boy, still untested, though he had counted more years than half the company. This would be his third battle, seasoned and blooded, stamped and sealed. A proven warrior. That's me. I've killed some men and wounded other, taken wounds myself, and lived to tell of them. I've led charges, heard men scream my name, cut down bigger men and better, even had a few small tastes of glory. Wasn't that a fine, rich wine for heroes, and wouldn't I like another taste? Yet, with all he'd done and all he'd seen, the prospect of another battle made his blood run cold. He had traveled across half the world by way of Planquin.
Yeah, sure. These words suck. Let me just say something real quick before you go on. Dude, you're doing awesome. I threw this at you. You've never read this before, so I appreciate it. Don't be nervous. Don't worry about it. I can't pronounce any of these words usually, so keep going, my brother. You're good. Just finish this one paragraph and we'll talk about it.
All right. Pullboat and Pig sailed in his slave ship and traded galleys, mounted whores, and horses, all the time telling himself that he did not care whether he lived or died, only to find that he cared quite a lot after all.
All right. So
your reading voice is great, by the way.
Yeah, you do have a really good voice.
Freaking awesome.
Thanks. Seriously, it's you, Jayne. Everyone sounds great, and then you got me, and I'm like, it's pathetic. God, that's why I always have better people than me on my streams. So we're still getting the idea of battle is glory, but really it's not, and I thought he was in more than 2 battles. I mean, he has been in skirmishes, with the, going up to the Erie, he killed a man, first man there, so he's been in more than just 2 battles, but in his mind, this is a true, battle. This is not like you just kind of get into it. It happens quick. It's over. This is a real battle. This is going to be, go ahead.
This is his third where he's really been the center of, or at least in the center of it, really experienced it. And like I said, this is more of that reflection of the past. Only this time it's, what the second sons have gone through. And, he started off talking about the victories and the glory and then the death and leaving brothers behind to rot. So, I mean, it's a lot. I love that we get to see what's going through his mind ahead of this.
Right. And he's also, at the beginning, he's talking about like, he's been in these battles. He's killed some men. He's done this. And then he thinks, but these guys have probably seen, I mean, that's all they do. All they do is fight, and he's a green boy compared to them. Yeah. I find that kind of interesting. Did you catch anything, Mason?
Yeah, he straight up says what Jayne Theory said about him not knowing whether he really wanted to live or not, and then he says like, "I really do care."
Oh, did he? You know what? I missed that. So the idea of death in this battle has made him have to actually state that he doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
I knew it happened in this chapter. I just didn't realize it was that soon, because this was the chapter I said at the beginning where you see him actually make that change where he's like, wait a minute, I no longer want to be a dead person. I want to live. Like there's things I want to still do. So this is all right. Nice pickup, man. I missed that. All right. Why don't you read a little bit more, and then maybe I think my mic isn't sounding bad. I'll take over for a little bit and then we'll switch back. We'll do back and forth for each other. Because, I mean, your voice is so great. Everybody loves it.
It really is.
It is. Son of a bitch. I just lost my spot anyways. Oh, man.
Right. The stranger had mounted his pale mare and was riding towards them with his sword in hand, but Tyrion Lannister did not care to meet with him again. Not now, not yet, not this day. What a fraud you are, imp. You let 100 guardsmen rape your wife, shot your father through the belly with a quarrel, twisted a golden chain around your lover's throat until her face turned black, yet somehow you still think that you deserve to live. This first sentence right here, the stranger mounted his pale mare.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't like so the stranger is death in the
yes.
religion of the Seven.
Correct.
But do they always talk about him riding a pale mare?
You know what? I don't. I want to say we've heard it before, but this might. I don't know. You know, because we've heard pale mare a lot because of the diseased bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know if they got that name from that. But I know, isn't that in somebody's vision too? Wasn't that the pale mare? Beware of the pale mare. Wasn't that one of Dany's visions? Maybe in the House of the Undying, or Quaithe gave to her. I think Quaithe actually gave it to her. But also, I don't know if you noticed this. The stranger had mounted his pale mare. What is Sir Barristan mounting? He's mounting Dany's silver.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
So is he the stranger? You know what I mean? Ooh. Like, is he going to be death today?
Oh, that's terrible symbolism.
Right?
I should have rethought
I'm a little
that.
twisted. I catch these things. You know, oh, look, who is here? The great Fat Steven Seagal beats up Netflix. Scott, where's the chapter where you get better internet? That's going to come down the road. And if you want to help out by becoming a channel member today, please feel free. And, you know, for a brief, I don't know, maybe commercial intermission type thing, we could just do, yes, I'm pausing for a moment because I screwed that up really bad. It would have been a lot funnier if I did it real quick, but I didn't do it really fast. Boom. You know, just to throw that out there, you can always help the channel out in that way, as little as $2 a month, which is less than a cup of Walton's best coffee. So, you know, and Bad Bunny showed up, so we got that going too. Stag, you're famous. Stag ain't here, bud. Stag is not. Stag is hopefully going to be here on Wednesday, though, when we go through our Game of Thrones book club. We're doing chapter, is it 61, 62, 63, I think. And then after Wednesday, guys, we're actually going to move Wednesday to Monday nights, and we're going to do our book reviews on Mondays, and we're going to do Winds of Winter every once in a while so we don't run out of material. And every Wednesday we'll have a dump. So boom, sucker, I'm with you. Robo Spork, you know it, girl. All right. We have
you want me to keep reading?
Real quick, I'll just do this $5 super chat and then we will. McKinney 90, to be fair, George R.R. Martin will finish the chapter where Scott better internet before he finishes his book. Yeah, that might be true, McKinney. That's awesome. Before you keep reading, man, let me ask you a question because I'm going to X out of this. I tried to be nice and let people see it. They can all bite me now. How many subs do you have?
Like, I think 4.
4 or 5. Okay, people.
Yeah.
I want people in the chat. There is more than 4 people in this chat. Could we please we have 21 people in the chat. So let me just pretend that 4 of you are subscribed to him. You know, most likely it's his mom or brother or something like that, because the first couple might be even fake accounts. I may have done that once or twice when I was starting out. But can we please go to his page, sub him. Let's get him past 25 before the end of this. And then we're going to do a Twitter thing afterwards where we're going to try to get him to 100 within a week. All right? That's some BS, bro. I didn't realize you were only at 4. We're going to get that shit rocking. All right. I get excited, dude. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to need you to read on. So take your time, relax, enjoy it. You got the great reading voice.
All right. Thanks for the shout out.
Anytime, dude. Anytime.
Okay. Penny was already in her armor when Tyrion slipped back inside the tent they shared. She had been strapping herself into wooden plate for 10 years in service of her mummery. Real plate and mail were not so different once you've mastered all the clasps and buckles. And if the company steel was dented here and rusted there, scratched and stained and discolored, no matter. It should still be good enough to stop a sword. The only piece she had not donned was her helm. When he entered, she looked up. You're not armored. What's happening? The usual things: mud and blood and heroism, killing and dying. There's one battle being fought out on the bay, another one beneath the city walls. Whichever way the Yunkish turn, they have a foe behind them. The closest fighting's a good league off still, but we'll be in it soon. On one side or the other, the second sons were ripe for another change of masters. Tyrion was almost certain of that, though there was a great abyss between certain and almost certain. If I have misjudged my man, all of us are lost. Put on your helm and make sure the clasps are closed. I took mine off once to keep from drowning, and it cost me a nose. Tyrion picked at his scar. We need to get you in your armor first. If you wish, the jerkin first, the boiled leather with the iron studs, ringmail over that, then the gorget. Is that? He glanced about the tent.
Keep going, man. I'm sorry. I'm not even looking at it, so I can't tell you what it is. I was about to try. I'm a moron. Just go.
Is there wine? No. We had a flagon left from last supper. A quarter of a flagon, and you drank it, he sighed. I would sell my sister for a cup of wine. You would sell your sister for a cup of horse piss. That was so unexpected that it made him laugh aloud. Is your taste for horse piss so well known? Is my taste for horse piss so well known, or have you met my sister? I only saw her that one time when we jousted for the boy king. Grode thought she was beautiful. Grode was a stunted little lickspittle with a stupid name. Only a fool rides into battles sober. Plum will have some wine. What if he dies in battle? It would be a crime to waste it. Hold your tongue. I need to lace this jerkin up. Tyrion did try, but it seemed to him that the sounds of slaughter were growing louder, and his tongue would not be held. Pudding Face wants to use the company to throw the Ironman back into the sea. He heard himself telling Penny as she dressed him. What he should have done was send all his horse sent all his horse at the eunuchs full charge before they got 10 feet from the gates. Send the cats at them from the left. Us and the wind blown from the right. Rip apart their flanks from both ends, man to man. The Unsullied are no better or worse than any other spearmen. It's their discipline that makes them dangerous. But if they cannot form up into a spear wall, lift your arms.
Let's just stop there real quick. We're going to stop there real quick.
Okay.
Dude, you're doing good, man. Have you ever even read this chapter before?
No.
Yeah, dude, this you're doing good because there are so many names that trip you up. I'm like reading it with you right now, and I'm like, oh, I can't say that. I know what eunuch is, but some people like, is it Grout or Groot? I don't know. Like, is it Groot like the freaking Marvel dude? I have no clue. So right here, they're kind of flirting. What do you guys think?
I think she's flirting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he is necessarily flirting.
And a gorget protects your neck. Okay. Do you even think he's picking up on it?
Under the circumstances, probably not. In fact, she's being weird. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with her.
Because she's a plant. That's why. Look, think about it. Tyrion has a type. His type is someone who needs his help. He needs to feel like he is needed and he's going to save somebody. He saved, that's why the first girl, he married her. And then, Shay, he felt like he needed to save her, and even falling kind of for Sansa, protecting her. He always falls for these girls. So he probably already has feelings, but can't even realize that he does because she's been playing on that savior complex he has since they met after her brother's death.
That's a good point.
And she always makes sure to bring it up too. Real quick. She always makes sure to bring up her dead brother and the death of Joffrey, just to keep hitting him with that, because that's what ruined her life. All right, go ahead, buddy. Sorry about that.
No, I was just going to say that I agree with you. Like it's a good pickup.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, actually.
Those women. Got to keep your head on a swivel. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying he does have a type. I had not noticed.
Am I going robotic? Because I hear you as robotic. Okay, awesome. All right, I'm going to read a little bit, and then we'll come back to you, buddy. So we did the lift your arm, said Penny. That's better. Maybe you should command the Yunkishmen. They use slave soldiers. Why not slave commanders? That would ruin the contest, though. This is just a Sivas game to the wise masters. Wear their pieces. Tyrion canted his head to one side, considering they have that in common with my lord father, these slavers. Your father? What do you mean? I was just recalling my first battle, the Green Fork. We fought between a river and a road. When I saw my father's host deploy, I remember thinking how beautiful it was, like a flower opening its petals to the sun. A crimson rose. I'm not rereading something we already read, am I?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that sounded familiar. A crimson rose with iron thorns. And my father, he had never looked so resplendent. Yeah, sure. He looked great. He wore crimson armor with this huge great cloak made of cloth of gold, a pair of golden lions on his shoulders, another on his helm. His stallion was magnificent. His lordship watched the whole battle from atop the horse and never got within 100 yards of any foe. He never moved, never smiled, never broke a sweat, whilst thousands died below him. Picture me perched on a stool, gazing down upon a Sivas board. We could almost be twins. If I had a horse, some crimson armor, and a great cloak sewn from cloth of gold. He was taller too. I have more hair though. Penny kissed him. She moved so fast that he had no time to think. She darted in, quick as a bird, and pressed her lips to his. Just as quickly it was over. What was that for? He almost said, but he knew what it was for. Thank you, he might have said, but she might take that as leave to do it again. Child, I have no wish to hurt you. He could have tried, but Penny was no child, and his wishes would not blunt a cut. For the first time for longer than cared to think, Tyrion Lannister was at a loss for words. She looked so young, he thought, a girl. That's all she is, a girl. And almost pretty if you can forget that she's a dwarf. Her hair was warm brown, thick and curly, and her eyes were large and trusting, too trusting. Do you hear that sound? Said Tyrion. She listened. What is it? She said as she was strapping a pair of mismatched greaves onto his stunted legs. War on either side of us, and not a league away. That's slaughter, Penny. That's men stumbling through the mud with their entrails hanging out. That's severed limbs and broken bones and pools of blood. You know how the worms come out after a hard rain? I hear they do the same after a big battle, if enough blood soaks into the ground. That's the stranger coming, Penny. The black goat, the pale child, him of many faces. Call him what you will. That's death. You're scaring me. Am I? Good. You should be scared. We have Ironborn swarming ashore, and Sir Barristan and his Unsully pouring out of the city gates, with us between them, fighting on the wrong bloody side. I am terrified myself. You say that, but you still make jabs. Jabs are one way to keep the fear away. Wine's another. You're brave. Little people can be brave. My giant of Lannister, he heard. She is mocking me. He almost slapped her again. His head was pounding. I never meant to make you angry, Penny said. Forgive me, I'm frightened is all. She touched his hand. Tyrion wrenched away from her. I'm frightened. Those were the same words Shay had used. Her eyes were big as eggs, and swallowed every bit of it. I knew what she was. I told Bronn to find a woman for me, and he brought me Shay. His hands curled into a fist, and Shay's face swarmed before him, grinning. Then the chain was tightening around her throat, the golden hands digging into her flesh as her own hands fluttered against his face with all the force of butterflies. If he had a chain to hand, if he had a crossbow, a dagger, anything he would have, he might have, it was only then that Tyrion heard the shouts. He was lost in the black rage, drowning in a sea of memories, but the shouting brought the world back in a rush. He opened his hands, took a breath, turned away from Penny. Something's happening. He went outside to discover what it was. Dragons. So, what do you guys think of that? I mean, there's a lot going on there. Again, I think Penny is trying to play him, and she overplayed her hand.
She definitely did.
Yep. Right? She's not looking to save. Yeah, it was awesome. Now, the one part I'm wondering, I can't remember if in earlier chapters did he slap her? I think he may have, because he said I almost slapped her again. Mm-hmm. But he's in such a rage, I don't know if he did it just then. So what do you think, Mason? Anything out of this one, or should we just keep moving, because a lot of it's just there, whatever this is, Penny and him. I don't know what it is. He keeps trying to talk himself out of feeling something for her as she tries to, make the moves on him.
Yeah, so earlier you said about somebody leading him into the battles so that he would know the value of life when he's Daenerys's hand of the king or queen.
Right.
So, and then here he's talking about how his father just stood up and watched as men died, and he's he's telling her how bad his dad was. Right, just sitting on like he said, on this chair, like a pedestal above. The thing though with Tyrion or Tywin Lannister is Tywin's been in war. He's actually fought. When he was a younger man. So which way does it go? Do you either become so hardened that you don't care anymore because you have to do what you have to do, or is it, is Tyrion thinking almost in a way, is he thinking too harshly of his dad
for doing what he did.
I think he's wondering whether he's going to become his dad. He's looking back on, because like I was saying earlier, I think that his earlier thoughts were a callback to Robert, and who's the other warrior that he knows, his dad. Yeah. And I think he may be, again, sort of comparing, contrasting what that experience was like versus what his experience is like, what he may become. You know, it's just he's going through all of that in preparation for the biggest battle of his life.
I do love how George spends more time here before the battle than he usually does in a battle. You know, talking about what's, you know, the heart and conflict, the feelings that people get, instead of talking about the actual battle itself. I mean, we get bits and pieces of it, but we more times than not, like look at Rob, you know, where he captured Jaime. We didn't even read about that battle. We just heard about the after, you know, part of that battle. You know, so it's like you never really read about the battle itself as much unless it's huge, like the Blackwater. Lady Tauriel's $2. There is always a thorn in the lion's paw. I wish she was here to explain that one, because I know that's deep. She knows her stuff. It was a mouse, says another lion, another monster. What are we up to on your sub count? I think someone last told me it was 19. We have 23 people in the chat watching right now. Please share the link again, guys. Let's get Mason up to 25 subscribers before the end of this, which we're going to be ending sooner than later because I have to be up at 2:30 in the morning. But yeah, let's make sure we get him the subscribers he deserves. And I think Lady Tauriel has her own page, her own YouTube channel. Guys, check her out. I would love for her to come back on, or maybe even go on her channel and talk about this stuff, because she's a new reader, never saw the show, and she's caught a lot of stuff that seasoned people that have read it multiple times have overlooked. So I find it very interesting. Okay, Mason, you're at 14 and counting. We need 11 more people. There's 23 in here. Someone just, I don't even think you come off this page. It just, we get little, you hit subscribe, you come back. That's all you got to do. Click it.
It opens a new page usually.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. All right, so I'm going to read a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap it up in about 10, 15 minutes. So let me see where I left off.
Wait,
I'm sorry, Mason. I'm so sorry.
What did you have? I wanted to say it kind of reads like she's doing what Tyrion usually does to other people. He kind of like presses their buttons to get them to do what he wants them to do.
Oh. So it's
that
like makes sense.
Sort of found his match or something.
Interesting.
Or he, in a way, it's almost like he doesn't realize she is even playing the game. So he's not even like she's playing the game and she's doing those things, but he doesn't even realize he's in it with her because he doesn't suspect her to be that type of person. That's pretty cool, man. I'm telling you, she has to be. Someone sent her. If it wasn't the Faceless Man, I don't know.
It's interesting. It too, I think, along those same lines, that goes back to his growth, because we sort of see his past and his present in the two of them.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. She's green to this. She's still kind of naive. Is that what you're saying? Like she represents what he was
in the beginning prior
to
all of his experiences and everything he's gone through. She's the one joking about, kissing or sex or alcohol or whatever.
Right.
And he's now the hardened military guy who's thinking about, he's more serious and all of that, thinking about what they're facing.
Right.
It's just he's just a completely different person now.
No, you're absolutely right.
Really cool.
That is awesome. I didn't even think about it. It's like we're seeing she's becoming more like him when he was back at Winterfell the first time we saw him.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to read this one line and then just come back real quick. The green beast was circling above the bay. I do like how they say, discover what it was. It was dragons. And then the first dragon they talk about is, I think it's Viserys is the green with gold flecks. And that's the dragon. If Tyrion's ever going to ride a dragon, it's going to be that dragon, I think. You know, because Tyrion, I believe, has one green eye and gold of the Lannisters. So just something to think about. All right. Banking. Okay. The green beast was circling above the bay, banking and turning as longships and galleys clashed and burned below him. But it was the white dragon, the sellswords were gawking at. 300 yards away, the Wicker sister swung her arm. Chunk thump, and 6 fresh corpses went dancing through the sky. Up they rose and up, then 2 burst into flames. The dragons caught one burning body just as it began to fall, crunching it between its jaws as pale fires ran across his teeth. White wings cracked against the morning air, and the beast began to climb again. The second corpse, caramoned off, an outstretched claw and plunged straight down to land amongst some younkish horsemen. Some of them caught fire too. One horse reared up and threw his rider. The other ran, trying to outrace the flames and fanning them instead. Tyrion Lannister could almost taste the panic as it rippled out across the camps. The sharp, familiar scent of urine filled the air. The dwarf glanced about and was relieved to see that it was Inkpots who had pissed himself, not him. You had best go change your breeches, Tyrion told him. And whilst you are about it, turn your cloak. The paymaster blanched but did not move. He was still standing there, staring as the dragon snatched corpses from the air. When the messenger came pounding up, a bloody officer, Tyrion saw it at once. He was clad in golden armor and mounted on a golden horse. Loudly he announced that he had come from the supreme commander of the Yunkai, the noble and puissant Gorzak Zo Erez. Oh my God, these names. Lord Gorzak sends his compliments to Captain Plum and requests that he brings his company to the bay shore. Our ships are under attack. Your ships are sinking, burning, fleeing. Though Tyrion, your ships are being taken, your men put to the sword. He was a Lannister of Casterly Rock. Close by the Iron Islands, Ironborn reavers were no stranger to their shores. Over the century, they had burned Lannisport at least thrice and raided it 24 times. Westermen knew what savagery the Ironborn were capable of. These slavers were just learning. Captain's not here just now, Inkpot told the messenger. He's gone to see the girl general. The rider pointed at the sun. Lady Malazah's command ended with the rising of the sun. Do as Lord Gorzak instructs you. Attack the squid ships, you mean? The ones out there in the water? The paymaster frowned. I don't see how. Myself, but when Brown Ben gets back, I'll tell him what your Gorzak wants. I gave you a command. You will act upon it now. We take commands from our captain, Inkpot said in his usual mild tone. He's not here. I told you. The messenger had lost his patience, Tyrion could see. Battle is joined. Your commander should be with you. Might be, but he's not. The girl sent for him. He went. The messenger went purple. You must carry out your orders. Snatch spat a wad of well-chewed sour leaf out of the left side of his mouth. Begging your pardon, he told the younkish rider, but we're all horsemen here. Same as me lord. Now, a good trained warhorse, he'll charge a wall of spears. Some will leap a fire ditch, but I'd never once seen any horse could run on water. The ships are landing, men, screaming the younkish lordling. They blocked the mouth of the Skazahan with their fire ships, and every moment you stand here taking another 100 swords another 100 swords come splashing through the shadows. Assemble your men and drive them back into the sea at once. Gorzak commands it. Which one's Gorzak? Asked Kem. Is he the rabbit? Pudding Face, said Inkpot. The rabbit's not fool enough to send light horse against longships. The rider had heard enough. I shall inform Gorzak Zo Erez that you refused to carry out his order," he said stiffly. Then he wheeled his golden horse around and galloped back the way he came, chased by a gale of sellsword's laughters. Inkpot was the first to let his smile die. "Enough," he said, suddenly solemn. "Back to it. Get those horses saddled. I want every man of you ready to ride when Ben gets back here with some proper orders. And put the cook fire out. You can break your fast after the fight's done, if you live that long." His gaze fell upon Tyrion. "What are you grinning at? You look a little fool in that armor, half-man." "Better to look a fool than to be one," the dwarf replied. "We are on the losing side." "The half-man's right," said Jorah Mormont. "We do not want to be fighting for the slavers when Daenerys returns, and she will make no mistake. Strike now and strike hard, and the queen will not forget it. Find her hostages and free them, and I will swear on the honor of my house and home that this was Brown Ben's plan from the beginning." Out on the water of Slaver's Bay, another of the Carthian galleys went up in a sudden whoosh of flames. Tyrion could hear elephants trumpeting to the east. The arms of 6 sisters rose and fell, throwing corpses. Shield slammed against shield as 2 spear walls came together beneath the walls of Meereen. Dragons wielded overhead, their shadows sweeping across the upturned faces of friends and foe alike. Inkpot threw up his hands. I keep the book. I guard our gold. I draw up our agreements, collect our wages, make certain that we have sufficient coin to buy provisions. I do not decide who we fight or when. That is for Brown Ben to say. Take it up with him when he returns. All right. So, I don't know if everybody understands what goes on with the Yunkai leadership. They're in charge of the, right? It's the Yunkai, not that dude's from he's a Yunkish guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the Yunkai, the way they do battle is they have 3 main generals, and every day one rules from sun up to the next sun up, I believe. So every 24 hours they switch the person in charge, which in this chapter we'll find out could be a huge bonus. You get the right general that knows what they're doing, or you get the one that, daddy got him the commission so he can say that he went to war. And these guys are just pissing whoever this is off by saying Brown Ben Plum went to meet the other one, the one that was in charge yesterday, the woman. So we've met 2. We don't know what the third one is. What were you going to say?
No, it's just that makes sense. I
right.
Didn't know that part.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. He went and, well, technically they're saying he went to meet the one who was in charge the day before, and they make sure that this one knows they will not take orders from anyone but Brown Ben Plum. So something's going on. George trying to get Dany, people on her side, but it almost feels like something's already being planned. Why would he go to knowing that she's no longer in charge? Why would he go to that general and not the one that will be in charge? I don't know.
It's an interesting question.
I'll just read on a little bit more, isn't it? I hope we find out right here. Guys, make sure you let's get a count on subs for Mason over here. I want to know where he's at. 21 people in the chat. Please hit like and subscribe to Mason. Let's see, where was I? I'm going to take it up with him when he returns. By the time Plum and his companions came galloping back from the camp of the girl general, the white dragon had flown back to his lair above Meereen. The green still prowled, soaring in wide circles above the city and the bay on great green wings. Brown Ben Plum wore plate and mail over boiled leather. The silk cloak flowing from his shoulders was his only concession to vanity. When he moved, the color changed. Super robotic, Mr. Roboto. All right. Let me try moving it over here a little bit. Am I still robotic?
Nope.
Yes. No? All right, let's try it. It rippled when he moved. The color changed from pale violet to deep purple. He swung down from his horse and gave her over to a groom, then told Snatch to summon his captains. Tell them to make haste, added Casporio the Cunning. Tyrion was not even a sergeant, but their Sivas games had made him a familiar sight in Brown Ben's tent, and no one tried to stop him when he entered with the rest. Besides Casporio and Inkpot, Hulan and Bokoko were amongst those summoned. The dwarf was surprised to see Sir Jorah Mormont there as well. We are commanded to defend the wicked sister, Brown Ben informed them. The other men exchanged uneasy glances. No one seemed to want to speak until Sir Jorah asked, on whose authority? The girls, Sir Grandfather, is making for... Okay, the girls. Sir Grandfather is making for the Hardan, but she's afraid he'll turn towards wicked sister next. These are all catapults, everybody. The ghost is already down. Marcellin's freedmen broke the long lance like a rotten stick and dragged it over with chains. The girl figures something means to bring down all the trebuchets. It's what I do in his place, Sir Jorah said. Only I would have done it sooner. Why is the girl still giving orders? Inkpot sounded baffled. Dawn has come and gone. Can she not see the sun? She's behaving as if she were still the supreme commander. If you were her and knew that Pudding Face were about to assume command, you might keep giving orders too, said Mormont. One is not better than the other, Casporio insisted. True, said Tyrion. But Malazar has nicer teats. Crossbows is how you hold wicked sister, Inkpot said. Scorpions, mangonels, that's what is needed. You do not use mounted men to defend a fixed position. Does the girl mean for us to dismount? If so, why not use her spears or slingers? Kemp stuck his pale blonde head inside the tent. Sorry to disturb you, Milo. All right, we're going to stop there then. Super robotic. We're going to come back when they're
it's so weird
discussing
because
in the
the
tent.
last time you were
That's what we should
fine.
do. All right.
I don't know what happened.
1 second. I think I just screwed up big time. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, but it's robotic.
Ah, crap.
Talk for a minute. Be right back. Let's see.
So, what'd you get from this part?
I'm always shocked by the fact that people see these dragons and still go to war. Like, still fight. Because how do you win against it? It doesn't make any logical sense.
Yeah.
They're going to burn you to death.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not a war. And for them to be having this conversation, oh, when Danny gets back, we don't want to be on the wrong side. But why is there an other side?
So where were you?
Were you saying something, Scott?
No, I was singing. I'm sorry. So what were you saying? Bring me up to quick speed.
I mean, I was just talking about the fact that you have a war happening when one side has dragons. That's not a war. That's just, a bunch of delusional people who are clearly out of their minds because they see the dragons and are like, yeah, we're going to fight anyway. Which makes no sense.
I mean, they're nuclear bombs in this world. They're like strategic, reusable nuclear bombs. And it's not like they know Danny, like they're not under, Barristan's control or somebody else's control. Like they don't have that information, so to think that these dragons are catching corpses and setting people on fire by dropping them, attacking, the enemy, knowing that they're attacking the enemy. But
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
the moment I saw it, the moment I saw one is when I would end the fight. Like I would go home in that moment. And especially after it breathed fire, and burns them, that's pretty much it. We surrender or whatever at that point.
I'd move to Westeros. I'd be gone. I'm out.
Yeah, I'll just join her side. I'm gonna fight for whoever has the dragons. You know?
Exactly. And in the next part of this, you get, these guys talking about that pretty much in the chapter. So it's kind of interesting that we're thinking that, and Mormont's thinking that, and Tyrion, but no one else on the field is thinking that.
Which is insane.
Right. You want to send mounted horse to guard a fixed position, which is just dumb. Mountain horse should come up, either by the flank or try to break the center. They're meant to trample people as they come through.
And that's the other thing. It's just bad battle strategy. It's not none of it makes sense.
Well, and then again, here you go. You got 3 different leaders with 3 different ideas. So how the hell do you think they ever thought they could beat, And granted, I can't remember if they know Dany's gone or not, but I'm pretty sure they do know. But how do you even think you could beat dragons with wooden trebuchets?
I mean, even if she's gone, they're there though. I mean, the dragons are there. She, for all you know, she could have sent them to fight the war. You don't, because she could. I mean, in theory, she could just say, "You dragon, go over there, take that city for me. It's done."
It's done.
They don't know that, And as far as the 3 generals, so they don't ever meet. They don't ever sit down and strategize together.
Well, you know what? I would think prior to the battle they did, but now that the battle is raging, I find it weird that they're in different command centers and not all in the same command tent. But, maybe they do that for if one goes down, the other 2 are still alive type thing. I guess that's a smart thing. But it doesn't, you would think you would be all right, we left off doing this, maybe you would want to go this way instead of, going to the water with mounted men.
It's like the Disney Star Wars trilogy.
There you go. Holy crap.
Crazy. That's crazy.
It truly is, though. It's, you have different people's visions of what this battle is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And the way Tyrion and Mormont are looking at it is, I wouldn't follow any of their visions.
Right. This is insane.
Yeah. Dany is the Dave Filoni / what's his name of Lucasfilms right about now. Go over to that side. It might not be the best bet to do, but it's better than those guys. It's better than Ruin Johnson, I don't know. What do you got? Anything, Mason? I did see someone said you're down to 6 subs again. That happens. YouTube, because you jumped up kind of quick, YouTube will double check those and then you'll have them there tomorrow. So don't worry about it. But you have anything to say about what was just read?
I think this chapter really highlights why the Unsullied are some of the best soldiers in the world of Westeros, because they don't have all these weird chain of commands, or they just accept their orders and do them, and they don't have these flip-floppy alliances. They'll just stand there and take the dragon fire.
Yeah.
You know what? You're absolutely true. That's absolutely true too. They would, now granted they are free men, but because Dany freed them, it's almost like she still kind of owns them in a way. They owe her their allegiance and their freedom. So these guys, if she was oh my God, one of my dragons went rogue, I could see them her saying, build a wall and go at them. They would do it. You're absolutely right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the old story in Karth of the 300 Unsullied, where they, a Dothraki Khalasar came to attack the city, and 300 Unsullied held them off, rush after rush after rush. I think it was, tens of 20, maybe even 30 times they came at them and they held them off. These guys are disciplined. When one falls, another one takes his place, or they come down and make it a smaller, tighter unit. You're talking about sellswords, these guys just want to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, and the second sons were with Dany, weren't they? At one point, Dany sent them out into the field, right? So, you know, it would be in their best interest, seeing the way the battle's going, to switch alliances and pray that she doesn't, you know, feed them to her dragons when she returns. It's crazy. All right, we're going to close it there. Does anybody have any last thoughts on what we read out of this chapter? I don't know when we're going to get back to it, but it was interesting.
It's just really wild seeing Tyrion, how much he's changed, wondering about, you know, what his role is now in the bigger picture. But yeah, I think this was really all about him, and it was a major character development chapter for him, and
definitely
it gives us a better insight into how these wars are fought, how they're perceived, like you said before, than we've seen. And yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes from here and where he ends up, especially in light of these experiences that have been highlighted even in his own mind.
Right.
Everybody has questions now, including him.
And don't forget that the reason why Mormont, you know, is with Tyrion is because he captured him and he wanted to give him as a gift to Dany.
Yeah.
You know, so this, I'm guessing it might go the same route as the show where they, you know, become kind of buddy-buddy, which you kind of see a little bit of that. But Dany only knows that these are the dogs of Robert Baratheon. The families are the dogs of Robert Baratheon. The stories her brother told her, she never heard anything from the other side until Barristan started telling her little bits and pieces. So, you know, how is she going to react to Tyrion? I just can't see him becoming the queen's hand like that quickly.
No, I think it's going to take some time. And the other thing, too, I liked, and even if it was just a little part, but the dragons are having a blast.
They're having a ball. It's almost like
they are having so much fun. Yeah.
You know, like they're throwing their ball at them and they're catching it in midair. And the best part is like they're burning the bodies, so and then grabbing them to eat them. And some bits they're missing or falling down and burning people and killing them. The dragons don't give a shit. It's so awesome.
It's so much fun for them. They're cooking their
food,
eating it.
You know, and then you have Tyrion also talking about the Ironborn and how vicious they are and how he doesn't want to see them in the field of battle. You know, this is a great chapter that shows us war, yet we're really not in the eyes of someone in the actual battle. And I love that.
The other thing too, you mentioned the Ironborn. This shows them so much more respect than in the show, where they're sort of seen as sort of dumb pirates who are just sort of backwards and nobody really sees them or takes them seriously. Here, when he's describing the experience of the Westermen in Casterly Rock and how much they've been attacked by these people and how fearsome they are, it puts them in a whole new light. I
mean, absolutely. I don't know if that, you know, Mason, think about like just 300 years prior, you know, Harren the Black ruled most of Westeros. I mean, the Ironborn were a fierce, respected, you know, feared people. And Tyrion, thank God we had Tyrion telling us that, because even in the books a little bit, you don't know how fierce they still are. You know, they take Winterfell because no one's there. They take, you know, Moat Cailin because really no one was ready for it. So we're seeing them
forget what they're really capable of.
Yeah, we're seeing them like destroying the Carthian ships, or Korth. I don't know what you want to call it, but what do you have to say? Anything, Mason?
At least the book Ironborns aren't getting taken over by show Euron.
Oh my god. Well, you know, the funny thing is show Euron is really, well, it wasn't a very good mix, but it was a mix of Euron and his brother Victarion, who is actually in this battle as we speak. You know, and to see like these men just so much different than the show would even say they were. They're not Hot Topic pirates.
Right.
They're, you know?
Fashion forward.
You know, Exactly. You got
With attitude.
Exactly. I can kill people. I'll kill Jaime Lannister. A brick did. One brick. But what you got is you got someone like Victorian who is, even though he's this vicious, just warrior, he has honor within their people's vision of what honor is.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and I hope we see more of him when this battle's over. I don't know. All right, I think that's all. We'll do our outros. Where are we at with your? Let's take a look. Your YouTube channel, man. If I had the link, and it's been in the chat 35 times. Here we go. Mason's right.
But like you said, it's going to come back.
Yeah, it always comes back.
YouTube is wondering what's happening.
They hate when that happens. Did it happen with you, Jayne, when you got your shout out?
Oh yeah, I lost so many subs and then they all came back. And even now,
right?
like if I get a wave of them, they'll disappear or they won't count it in my actual like official count for a day or so.
So nuts. What's the name? I'm sorry, one more time, Mason, so everybody knows. The name of your channel again is?
So it's Free Folk of Fandom with your host, Jarboy.
That's such a dope name, though. Free Folk of Fandom. That's what I would call it.
And I like that part.
Right. And when you do a show, that's when you say with your host. I think that's freaking dope. Let's see. There we are. You are at, it's actually showing 6, but we're going to blow this sucker up. I was already subscribed, so I was probably one of your first. You're welcome. I'm pretty awesome. I know. I'm pretty cool. Let's see. Here we go. So everybody, this is Mason's page right here, the Free Folk. You have what? Over 5 videos already, huh? Boys season 2 trailer. Good, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Fallout
I have
TV
one in
show. Oh, nice. Sorry, I got to watch that one.
That first one I have right there. I'm just like sitting in my car, and people are like still watching it, even though it's like
that's
3
awesome.
months
old. People like that.
You know what, dude? You had 4 subs when we started, but you had 153 views. That's freaking cool, man.
Yep.
That's pretty much more than I get on mine. So good for you, brother. So tell them where they can find you right here. Say a little anything you want. We'll have you back one of these days for the book club. And I appreciate you helping out with the reading and coming on to help me and Jayne out here, buddy.
Great reading voice.
Yeah, okay. He has a great reading voice.
Like he could get paid to do it.
I don't know about that. But, there's no problem. I don't mind reading. So I just finished Boys Season 1, so I'm probably going to make a video on that and then start covering each episode. I'm working on a New Mutants review. I saw that like a few days ago. So
how'd you like it?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that there was like reshoots.
Oh God, I can imagine. They probably look like I was wondering do they look like they age between shots and then get younger? Like
they had to DH them though, right? I thought they did have to DH them a little bit.
Something like that. Because think about like how much Macy Williams grew since they started the filming of that. It's insane.
It's been put off so long.
Yeah, nuts. So you're going to be doing season 1 and then going into season 2. Go for it, brother. Did I cut you off?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, I was just saying, so you're going to be doing season 1. You're going to start on season 2, episode by episode. What else do you cover?
Sorry, you went really robotic.
Yeah,
what
dude,
was
I am
the
so
question?
far behind you guys too. Oh my god, this computer sucks. What else do you do other than like the boys? You do mostly do you do gaming or is it just you know,
What happened?
oh my god, that wasn't my fault. I swear to God that wasn't me. He just
Well,
disappeared.
you didn't sound robotic when he thought you were, so it may be his internet connection.
Yeah, Mason. Wasn't me. There we go. Here he is.
Oh,
All right. Let's try that one more time.
Sorry, I don't know what.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna come to know when you're on my show. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow,
it's
man.
part of the entertainment.
It really is. I got like 20 solid people that will watch live through the whole thing just because they like making fun of me, and I love them for it. Become a channel member today. So what are you covering? Do you do gaming or do you just do TV movie?
So on Free Folk of Fandom, I'm doing like just like TV and stuff, and I'll probably do some game reviews or something. But if you want to like watch me play games, you can go to Jarboy Gaming.
Oh, so you have 2 channels?
If you go on my, yeah.
Oh, look at you, big time. How many subs you got in that one?
Like maybe 2.
Okay. Oh shit. Let's I can't do it right now, but if we can get the link in the chat, and that was Jarboy, so Jarboi Gaming.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. I will definitely subscribe to that if I'm not subscribed already. That's dope. Good for you. So you do gaming on one channel, TV and movies on the other, and you're working right now on the boys.
Yeah. Boys
Good
and
for you,
New
dude.
Mutants Review.
Yep.
And I finished The Witcher, the first book, and I'll have a review out at some point for that.
Sweet. Good, man. I like it. I like it.
So
now you read the book, you're saying? Jayne, both you guys did. What's the book called, the first book?
Blood of Elves. Well, it depends. I started with the first book, the first official book, which is The Blood of Elves. But there are some novels, some short stories that precede it.
Mm-hmm. Written by the writer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But what I'm doing right now is Blood of Elves.
So you're going like chronological when the books came out.
Right, the main books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
All right, dude.
I think that
game one. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think that the first, like, there's the prequel book. I think that one's called The Last Wish. I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That might be wrong. And then the first book that was released was Blood of Elves.
Right.
That's cool, man.
And,
so
yeah.
you're starting with the first book in the saga, or right?
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah,
James
Blood of Elves.
Wow, you guys are confusing the shit out of me. Okay, awesome, awesome.
You have Last Wish and Sword of Destiny. Those are the 2 books of the short stories that just sort of get you into the world.
Mm-hmm.
But Blood of Elves is the first official novel in the actual saga.
Right.
It's just weird.
It is. It is.
But
weird.
they're all good. And if you watch the show, the short stories are basically season 1. So season 2 will start with the actual books.
Oh, gotcha. So, that's cool as hell. So the history was the short ones. Blood of Elves is what we're going to get. And how long is Blood of Elves? Is it a short book, long book?
It's a long book. I mean, it's about almost 400 pages, I think. Long chapters. That's why when I'm doing the scene by scene, because it's like 7 chapters. So it's huge chapters. Every scene is basically like a chapter.
Seriously,
Game of Thrones. Yeah.
But it goes as scenes?
No, it's 7 chapters. It's just a lot of scenes in each chapter.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why he did it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy watching yours Jayne. So I will definitely enjoy watching Mason's too. And I am going to this YouTube channel right now, and I am your 7th sub, dude, on your gaming one. So rock on, brother. All right. We will have you back, Mason. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for jumping on and helping out, reading, all that good stuff. Guys, please check out Mason. Mason, do you have a Twitter for your shows, or excuse me, for your channel, or is it just Mason? Which one is it again?
Yeah, so my Twitter is @jarboy7, and you can find me on Instagram. It's @jarboy_.
That's easy. Good shit,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Jayne, let's show them how a pro does it.
I don't know about that, but you can find me here on YouTube, where I post weekly movie and television reviews every Sunday at 6 Central, as well as some occasional pop culture news and commentary. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram @Jayne Theory.
I was muted. Thank you very much, Jayne. Thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be in this hotel for like 2 months, so you're going to be laughing at me a lot, but I always appreciate everybody's support. If it wasn't for you guys, I got to be honest, I don't think the wife would be happy that I do this so much, but she sees that it's starting to grow, it's starting to make money from super chats and memberships. So without you guys, I know people say this, but literally I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. So I appreciate that. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday night for book club. And then after that, we will go to Monday night to the book club following week. And then we'll be doing Hump Day Dump on Wednesday, and then the actual Saturday Dump on Saturdays. So in the words of Stephen Walton, wash your hands, wash your ass. Have a great